Hey guys, welcome to the greatest combat sports podcast. Unfortunately, just before we get into any shit we actually really want to talk about, something.
WA just took a shit.
Yeah, well, the WA lockdown is about to start. It will start in a few hours.
Yeah.
We've got to start wearing masks now. I've never worn a mask at all outside of the Apple store. So that's going to be really weird for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking strange. All right, so the thing was, it was one hotel quarantine worker, a security guard.
Security guard, yeah.
I believe he had to be an asymptomatic because he'd been walking around for 6 days or something like that.
So what the theory is right now is that someone had returned from overseas travel and hotel quarantined themselves.
They're all South African and UK people.
Yeah.
All those people. There's 7 people in WA that are in quarantine right now, and they're from South Africa or UK.
Yeah. So that's the issue as well, because we don't know what strain this is now. There's 2 different strains. One is the UK strain, there's a South Africa strain, and one of the South African strains is incredibly deadly. That's why people are shitting themselves right now, because it could be the South African strain, and we are yet to be confirmed what kind of strain it is.
The UK is supposedly also, and South Africa. South African one is supposed to be a little bit more, higher mortality rate.
Yeah.
Whether you can really believe that, I'm not too sure because the stats on there are a bit funny. But we do know that the UK and the South African strain is actually way more transmissible. COVID was already very, very highly infectious, right?
Yeah.
Could transmit from one person very quickly. But apparently these 2 strains are even faster. So,
Guess who's back?
COVID's
back.
Yeah.
It's
been such a long time ago.
Tell them that. Yeah, I was going to say that, man. Last time we went back into lockdown was March last year.
It's been 10 months since we've been 10 months free of a COVID
since
case.
We've had a community transition. This is the first ever community transition we've had in a while. But one thing we're just going to say right off the bat is hats off to Mark McGowan. I didn't know, literally, I was chilling at home, find out that the security guard officer got it from a mate, and then literally 30 minutes later, Mark McGowan makes the announcement to go straight into lockdown for a week. That was quick. That was incredibly proactive.
Very.
I'm actually quite proud. Listen, above all, we can talk about the panic buy and talk about everything else that's going on. But first of all, I'm just going to say a quick shout out. Mark McGowan, you are the man. Because if this was anywhere else, we'd be like, nah, we'll be all right, mate. Look, lockdowns work. They help. We did it. It helped us. We're going back into it again. Worst case scenario is this will go for a month. Because I got a feeling that he must have gave it to somebody. If he's been out for 6 days, 6 days is too long. You will definitely give it to somebody.
Apparently he lives in a share house. I had a look at it. It sounded that they had a little bit more information and said he actually was in a share house with 3 other people.
Okay.
And that they are all negative. So, but COVID's funny how they can be negative one day, but the day after they can be positive, asymptomatic. So, pretty fucking weird. I mean, I know we mentioned Mark McGowan. If you're not from WA, you won't know this, but he's the premier for WA. Yeah, decent bloke, decent politician. He seems to be actually being quite proactive, and he doesn't wait or procrastinate about what's going to happen or speculate. He gets shit done quickly, and even though perhaps one hotel worker being positive asymptomatic and putting all of WA, the whole state, which is one of the biggest states in Australia, into a 5-day lockdown people might see as a big thing, but I think he's just trying to be proactive during this time rather than, because it is highly infectious, it could be very quick before it's a much serious and longer lockdown. So I think it was a better move. You can have a shorter lockdown if you act faster, more proactive. So that sounds sick to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's done a terrific job of it. But one thing I thought was a little bit strange is how we're literally going into lockdown. Do you know the time? Do you have the time on you right now?
Let me see.
2:30.
2:30.
We've been in lockdown for 30 minutes already. Last time we went into lockdown, we eased into it, remember?
No, the lockdown doesn't technically start until 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. I was told it was 2. Okay, so 6 p.m.
6
So we go into lockdown literally 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. So by the time this podcast is up, probably it will be into a full lockdown. But we remember last time when we had the lockdown, we eased into it, didn't we? We didn't just go into a lockdown straight away. We sort of eased into it for a few weeks.
I think they eased into it and they started to bring out more information because it was when the world had started to go into lockdowns.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit different because everybody knows what a lockdown is. Everyone knows what to do. We've already got people that have been hotel quarantine for over the last year. So everybody kind of knows. So he's just trying to act quickly. Everybody knows what to do in a quarantine. Boom, 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 get it done quickly. Yeah. I think it's better to act swiftly and quickly, and that means you don't have to worry about any people that are going, what's going on? Everyone's being a little bit strict right off the bat, nice and quickly. Instead of having, a 2, 3, 4 month lockdown, you get something quite, relatively shorter. So that sounds good to me.